It existed long before the oceans claimed their first wave. Some called it God. Others whispered of death given form, lurking where sunlight never reaches. The abyss trembles at its passing. The water smells faintly of brine and decay. Shadows coil beneath the surface, as if alive. Every sailor's nightmare, every myth's shadow. It moves patiently, calculating, a predator that tests curiosity and fear, not hunger. Tonight, we descend into the abyss to witness the Leviathan's dominion. Currents shift unnaturally, as if alive, and the scent of salt and decay lingers in the mist over the surface. We will trace the hierarchy of its kin, from the minor scale sworn to the apex predator that bends currents like clockwork. Crew nerves fray at every flicker of bioluminescent light, every unnatural ripple. We will uncover powers that blur reality, confront rare moments when human perception collides with its alien intelligence, and see that the abyss is not merely water. It is a living, calculating realm. If you want to follow every hidden ripple and witness how humans confront the unknown, make sure to subscribe to Esoteric Origins, so you're here when we uncover what even the abyss tries to hide. The name Leviathan originates from the Hebrew word Leviathan, meaning twisted or coiled. In ancient texts, it referred to a monstrous serpent, the embodiment of the sea's uncontrollable fury. But the term is more than linguistic, it is conceptual, a presence that bends light and sound, creating distortions even before it is seen. Scholars debated whether Leviathan was literal, a metaphor for tempests, or a force of cosmic judgment. Even centuries later, sailors reported metallic scents in the air, ripples moving against currents, and faint groans beneath the waves, merging fact and myth. In this context, the Leviathan is not merely a beast. It is an idea made flesh, a predator whose existence warps perception, memory, and the environment, a testament to forces older than humanity and indifferent to its fragility. Within the abyss, hierarchy governs all. At the base are the scale sworn, serpentine creatures barely larger than a ship's mast. Their movements ripple through water like whispers of intent, stirring sediment and tangling nets. Sailors report the faint metallic tang of disturbed deep-sea minerals when these minor predators pass, and the water hums softly under currents they manipulate. Agile, cunning, and cruel, they hunt in small packs, testing human nerves, sniffing fear in the air, and retreating when they sense even a fraction of competence. Above them are the Abyssals, massive, intelligent predators that dominate mid-tier territory. They control currents with near-telepathic precision, create illusions of phantom lights, and stir pressure changes that make vessels groan under strain. Sailors describe the faint vibration through hulls, the chill in the water, and whispers that seem to echo from nowhere, measuring courage and hesitation before striking, or choosing not to. At the apex stands the Leviathan itself, a presence so immense that compasses falter, sonar shatters, and light bends unnaturally around its massive coils. Its eyes glow with knowledge spanning centuries, if not millennia. Currents bow to its will, shadows coil beneath its body. The sea carries scents of salt, decay, and deep earth minerals whenever it passes. Its hunger is deliberate, its patience eternal, its awareness total. Even minor kin defer to its presence, scattering like echoes before a storm. In this hierarchy, every level exists to serve intelligence beyond human comprehension. From the smallest scale sworn to the apex predator itself, each being operates on observation, calculation, and execution, a living hierarchy of horror where environment, fear, and intellect intertwine, and humans are fragile intruders in a world older than memory. The Leviathan commands not just the water, it bends perception itself. Currents twist and roar unnaturally, creating whirlpools capable of swallowing ships whole. The water hums with pressure, carrying a metallic tang and a faint smell of decay. Sailors speak of their skin pricking under sudden temperature shifts, of hulls vibrating as if alive, of unseen weight pressing downward. Its illusions are subtle but devastating. Lights appear on the horizon, phantom lighthouses, flickering islands, ghostly silhouettes of crew members. When approached, they vanish, leaving panic and disorientation. Human senses are assaulted in every way. The air tastes faintly of brine and rust, shadows flicker unnaturally, and time itself seems to stretch. The Leviathan's jaws are enormous, twisted like anchors, capable of cleaving metal, but rarely strike without intent. More terrifying is its mind. Whispers carried through currents twist thoughts, amplifying fear before any physical attack. Even trained sailors feel their pulse falter, their coordination fail, as the creature's presence manipulates perception and environment. Beyond brute force, it demonstrates strategic intelligence. Abyssals and scale-sworn are orchestrated like chess pieces, probing, observing, and testing human reaction. Currents, pressure, temperature, and light are all instruments in its silent calculus. Encountering it is to confront absolute intelligence, a predator older than humanity, patient, deliberate, and indifferent. Every ripple, every shadow, every whisper in the water is intentional. Survival requires observation, patience, and humility, because its dominion is total, extending from the tangible crush of water to the intangible manipulation of human senses. The Leviathan does not act on instinct, it calculates. It observes with a patience that stretches hours into days, and days into a terror so subtle humans cannot name it. Currents shift around its body as if following thought. Shadows twist unnaturally, reflections mislead, and faint whispers echo through water, bending perception before any physical contact occurs. Sailors describe a weight pressing against their minds, a sense of being studied by intelligence older than memory. Microdramas unfold constantly. A lone lookout sees a lantern flicker in rhythm with something below, hears a groan carried through water that cannot exist naturally, feels the hull groan under invisible pressure. The Leviathan tests, prods, and measures. Fear, courage, hesitation. Every minor encounter is a psychological puzzle. Every observation a probe. It deploys scale-sworn and abyssals like extensions of its cognition, orchestrating traps with currents, temperature shifts, and mirages. The creature knows when humans overreact and when they calculate. It exploits weakness with patience, precision, and indifference. To encounter the Leviathan is to confront alien logic, methodical, deliberate, and incomprehensible. It does not kill out of malice. It experiments, teaches, and tests. Light refracts strangely, water hums, and time itself seems elastic. Human perception is the playground, fear the instrument, and survival the lesson. Its psychology mirrors the environment. The abyss becomes an extension of thought. To survive is to understand patterns, to respect patience, and to confront one immutable truth. The mind of the Leviathan is older, deeper, and more patient than any human will ever be. The Leviathan defies comprehension. Its body coils through the abyss like living shadows, immense and impossible. Scales glint like obsidian, catching faint bioluminescent light, each ridge reflecting distorted images of surrounding water. To glimpse it is to feel vertigo. Perception bends around its size, compasses fail, sonar instruments shatter, and the hull vibrates under invisible pressure. Its eyes, twin lanterns of deep awareness, glow intermittently, not with malice, but with ancient calculation. Crew who survive glimpses speak of a gaze that penetrates thought, measuring hesitation, fear, and instinct. Its jaws, twisted like anchors, rarely strike, yet the tremors they induce ripple through the water, and along vessel hulls, unsettling even the most seasoned sailors. Tentacle-like fins undulate slowly, stirring sediment with deliberate force, creating ripples that mask movement and lure the unwary. Jagged spines occasionally rise along its ridges, fossil-like, hinting at a lineage that predates memory. Currents wrap around its form, as if it is both creature and environment, inseparable from the abyss it commands. Even minor kin defer to its presence. The scale-sworn scatter, abyssals retreat, and the ocean itself seems to bow. Sailors report smells of brine, decay, and mineral-rich deep water whenever it passes. Its form communicates inevitability, intelligence, and patience. A predator not only of flesh, but of perception and courage. To encounter the Leviathan is to confront a paradox. Beauty intertwined with horror, power coiled in elegance, and intelligence that stretches centuries beyond human understanding. Every ripple, shadow, and scale is a lesson. The abyss is alive, and it obeys only one law, the will of its master. The Leviathan inhabits the abyssal depths, a world beyond light, where pressure would crush any human body instantly. Here, water is alive. Currents bend unnaturally, sediment swirls in deliberate patterns, and faint bioluminescent flashes hesitate when it passes. Sailors report metallic tangs in the water, a chill that creeps into bones, and whispers carried by currents that do not exist. Every ripple is measured. Every fold of water communicates intention. Ridges of jagged rock and trench labyrinths form its kingdom, shaped by ancient forces and subtly rearranged by the Leviathan itself. Shipwrecks lie half-buried, their hulls twisted, their skeletons acting as silent markers or warnings. The water carries sounds humans cannot consciously interpret. Groans, clicks, and vibrations that echo thoughts rather than objects. Observers describe disorientation, nausea, and an unshakable sensation of being watched, even when alone. Above the abyss, subtle surface effects hint at its presence. Calm waters ripple without wind. Mirages shimmer on the horizon. Compasses and instruments falter unpredictably. Foam and spray mimic voices, drawing curiosity into danger. Every current, every shadow, every pressure change is an extension of the Leviathan's will. Humans are fleeting intruders, fragile against intelligence older than memory. The habitat itself is an extension of the predator, a living, sentient environment teaching caution, humility, and awe. Here, perception bends, fear is amplified, and every minor misstep may be observed and recorded by a patient, calculating mind. To enter this world is to witness the abyss as both home and weapon, a realm that shapes reality itself according to a logic humans barely grasp. The Leviathan story is written in the annals of sailors who vanished or returned forever changed. Ordinary crews first noticed anomalies. Nets twisting impossibly, compasses spinning erratically, lanterns flickering as if frightened by unseen shapes. The air smelled faintly of brine and rust, and the water seemed to vibrate subtly underfoot. Shadows coiled where none should exist, and every ripple hinted at intelligence, not chaos. In the 12th century, a merchant fleet entered a deep trench. Sailors reported phantom lights, ghostly islands, and flickering silhouettes of missing crew members. Panic rose like a living tide. Hands trembled on ropes, hearts hammered against ribs, and whispers of fear spread along creaking decks. Some accounts suggest these visions appeared only to certain crew members, those already watching the water too closely, which raises an unsettling question. If you were standing on that deck, would you trust what you saw or dismiss it until it was too late? Let us know in the comments. Hours later, only one vessel survived, battered but intact, carrying the memory of currents that moved with will and shadows that seemed alive. By the 15th century, encounters became legendary. A naval captain described a storm that seemed to avoid one massive shape beneath the waves. Hulls groaned as currents bent unnaturally. Ropes snapped under invisible pressure, and the scent of deep earth minerals and decay filled the air. Crewmen swore they glimpsed eyes glowing with awareness, teeth glinting like anchors, yet the creature did not strike. Every movement, every ripple, every subtle distortion was calculated, measured, and deliberate. Sufi mystics recorded visions of the Leviathan in allegorical terms, dreams of coiled darkness where time folded and memory fractured. They felt the presence through currents, heard whispers that twisted thoughts, and awoke with knowledge guiding maritime practice for generations. Across centuries, human encounters follow the same rhythm. Curiosity leads to observation, observation to panic, panic to insight or destruction. Whether through vanished sailors, legendary survivors, or mystical visions, the Leviathan's presence is an enduring lesson in intelligence, patience, and the limitations of human perception. Its history is not merely written in text, but in currents, shadows, and the tremors of fear carried across the oceans. Among the few who survived the abyss, Captain Idris stands out. His ship creaked under strain, sails flapping violently, decks slick with brine spray. The Leviathan observed silently below, coiling in currents that seemed to bend time itself. The first sign was subtle. Lanterns flickered in impossible patterns, compasses spun, and water rippled against natural flow. Crewmen glanced nervously at one another, whispering, gripping ropes, hearts hammering. Idris recognized the presence immediately, not as predator, but as calculating intelligence. Panic could kill faster than teeth or jaws. He adjusted sails, tilted masts, and read subtle cues in water movement. The Leviathan tested him relentlessly, projecting phantom lights and distorted silhouettes of crew, manipulating fear like a master. The smell of brine and deep earth minerals filled the air, water pressure shifted unpredictably, and faint vibrations ran through the ship, synchronized to the creature's patience. Hours stretched unnaturally. Every choice, turn, tack, rope tension was observed, measured, and judged. Crew hands trembled as shadows coiled beneath. Lanterns swung like pendulums of dread. One misstep could invite disaster. Yet Idris survived by watching, calculating, and respecting the intelligence beneath the waves. By dawn, the Leviathan receded, leaving Idris and the remaining crew alive but profoundly altered. The creature had not struck, yet the ordeal left indelible marks. Trembling hands, frayed nerves, and minds stretched thin by exposure to a consciousness far beyond human comprehension. Encounters like this are not battles, they are lessons. Humanity may witness power, but survival demands patience, observation, and humility. The Leviathan's presence is a mirror of intelligence, testing courage, perception, and resolve, teaching that even when unseen, its dominion is total and comprehension is the only path to survival. The Leviathan is not merely a predator, it is a teacher of the abyss. Its dominion demonstrates a terrifying truth. Strength and instinct matter little when confronted with intelligence older than memory. Currents twist deliberately, shadows coil unnaturally, and subtle shifts in water temperature and pressure test patience, perception, and composure. Humans who flee blindly perish. Those who observe, who calculate, gain lessons in survival and humility. Even minor sensory details are deliberate. Faint metallic tangs in the water, murmurs carried through currents, and the smell of decay that hints at the creature's presence. Each ripple, shadow, and whispered vibration is a measure of courage, focus, and adaptability. The Leviathan's lessons are not moral, but existential. Life is indifferent. Intelligence may exist without empathy, and survival often hinges on understanding patterns rather than brute force. Philosophically, it challenges the human ego. Sailors, mystics, and scholars alike confront the same immutable reality. The universe is vast, patient, and indifferent, and mortals are fragile intruders. Exposure to its presence stretches cognition, distorts perception, and tests the mind, leaving lessons written not in text, but in trembling hands, altered rhythms of breath, and the unshakable impression of being measured. To study the Leviathan is to confront your limitations. Patience over impulse, observation over aggression, humility over hubris. Its dominion is total, yet invisible, teaching that intelligence may exist beyond comprehension. Fear can be instructive, and the abyss itself is both classroom and test. Across centuries, the Leviathan has shaped human imagination and maritime culture. Sailors spoke of it in hushed tones, describing currents that moved like living entities, lights flickering where none should exist, and hulls trembling under invisible pressure. Tales of vanished ships became cautionary legends, embedding the creature in folklore as both a literal threat and a symbol of the unknowable. In medieval texts, it was portrayed as a manifestation of divine judgment, a force indifferent yet instructive. Chroniclers recorded the scent of decay and mineral-rich deep water, the subtle groans of the abyss, and the uncanny coordination of currents as signs of intelligence beyond human comprehension. Sufi mystics saw in its patience and calculation an allegorical reflection of cosmic law. The universe tests patience, measures intent, and rewards humility. In literature and modern media, the Leviathan continues to inspire. Its presence informs cosmic horror, deep-sea exploration, and metaphors for human hubris confronting forces far older and wiser than themselves. Even folklore and minor water spirits trace lineage to its mythos, hinting at a hierarchy of influence that stretches across oceans, cultures, and centuries. The Leviathan's impact is not merely narrative but structural. It reshaped navigation, inspired maritime rituals, and taught reverence for forces beyond control. From vanished sailors to mystics, poets, and filmmakers, the creature's dominion persists in human culture. It is both feared and revered, an invisible architect of stories, lessons, and existential perspective. Even when unseen, its shadow guides decisions, shapes imagination, and reminds humanity of its fragile place in a vast, intelligent, and indifferent world. The Leviathan is not simply a creature. It is an idea incarnate, a presence that shapes reality without intent, yet with total authority. Currents coil in obedience, shadows twist unnaturally, and the ocean itself hums with awareness. Its gaze, if glimpsed, measures thought, hesitation, and courage, leaving an indelible mark on those who witness it. Every ripple, every subtle vibration, every metallic tang in the water is a testament to intelligence far older and broader than humanity. Sailors, mystics, poets, and scientists alike confront the same truth. Existence stretches beyond comprehension, and survival demands respect for forces both patient and indifferent. In legend, literature, and observation, the Leviathan is a mirror. It reflects patience, inevitability, and the consequences of hubris. Its form, coiled, massive, and inscrutable, is both beautiful and terrifying, a reminder that the world contains intelligence indifferent to human understanding. To encounter the Leviathan, even in thought, is to confront a consciousness older than memory, wiser than understanding, and utterly unbound by human desire. It teaches that some presences cannot be challenged, only acknowledged, and that true awe is measured in silence, patience, and reflection. Subscribe.